Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Flights. This is episode number 30. Can you believe we've done 30 of these little videos? So in honor of that, we're going to take a look back to the very beginning today. Not to the beginning of Friday Night Flights, but way further back to the beginning of when Lisa and I started getting into wines and started really enjoying wines. Back in the early 2000s, there was a store up near Flatirons Mall called the Wine Experience. And when they were around, Colorado changed the laws to start allowing retail stores to have in-store tastings and on-property tastings. So the Wine Experience actually had retail tasting license number 1, and they would host Friday and Saturday events, free wine tasting events. So Lisa and I would always go up to what we called Free Wine Friday, and it was never free for us because we always ended up buying something. And the other thing the Wine Experience would do is sometimes on weekends they would host parking lot events for Colorado wineries where they'd get a dozen or so Colorado wineries together to pour. And that's really when Lisa and I started getting involved with and exposed to Colorado wineries. So the first wine we're talking about today is from a Colorado winery. It's one of the wines that I first really started to like at those tastings back in the early 2000s. This is from Boulder's Bookcliff Vineyards. This is the 2019 Viognier from Bookcliff. Viognier is a French grape, typically very dry, sometimes kind of cloying. I think Colorado and Bookcliff in general does a great job with Viognier. Let's take a look at, or take a taste of what we have here. Off the nose, first thing that hits me is minerality. It's like sandstone, limestone, apple, from florality, some floralness in there. Maybe a little bit of pear, possibly. On the palate, really nice dry acidity that you just let that work its way through, and once the acidity fades, the palate is kind of overcome with this lush, creamy green apple. And some other stone fruits, some apricots, maybe some nectarines. The green apple is actually even some red apple is predominant in there though. For a white wine, it has a very lush, long finish. It just lingers with you. It's a terrific wine. What I would pair this with for dinner would be like Prince Edward mussels, maybe some seared scallops would be great with this. And I actually think with the acidity that's in there, it could also break through a heavier, cheesier dish, like maybe like a chicken Kiev, I think would be really nice with this. Again, Bookcliff Vineyards out of Boulder, 2019 Viognier, one of our favorite vineyards in the state. Now, the next wine, the red wine we're doing today, is a wine that we discovered up at Total Wine Experience. It's just Wine Experience. They're no longer around, sadly, but while they were there, we were introduced to Opelo Vineyards out of Paso Robles, California. The first wine we ever bought a case of was the Opelo Vineyards Mountain Zinfandel from 2003. This is actually Opelo's Summit Creek Zinfandel 2019. Really beautiful red color there. Oh, wow. Big, red, ripe fruits right off the nose. I get cranberry, raspberry, and there's something that's going to sound odd that I don't know that I'm smelling it, but it's coming to mind as I smell it, is pulled pork. I'm thinking a barbecue sauce with pulled pork, but hey, that's what's coming to mind. That's what I'm getting there. And actually some candied sweetness, almost like maybe some maraschino cherry. Before I really even get into describing this wine, all I want to say is, damn, that's delicious. It's super jammy, very fruit forward. Those big red fruits definitely come through. There's also some great peppery notes, maybe some white pepper in there. The finish, is, it's got a really nice tannic structure with those big red fruits turning into like a caramel vanilla flavor on the back of the palate. Actually, even hints of butterscotch in there. Again, what I would pair this with is, as I said earlier, some smoked pork, some brisket. I always love Zinfandel with barbecue. I think those two just go really well together. So, whatever you're drinking this weekend, I hope you're loving it. What we've had today are 2019 Bookcliff Viognier out of Boulder and 2019 Summit Creek Zinfandel out of Paso Robles, California, from Opelo Winery. I hope you have a great weekend. Cheers.